Hey everyone, in this short video, I'm going to show you the power of our first-party agent, Analyst. I am Diana Burson, and I work in Microsoft Federal across the Copilot for M365 space. So today, let's take a look at what Analyst can do for us. I'll show you how to access Analyst, the functionality of it, and then wrap it up with technical details. I'm going to share my little dev space. So in a few seconds, you will see Analyst in action. Now, what if I told you that in the next 30 minutes, you'll see how to forecast the budget, how to create an ROI scoreboard from 5 different files, and how to clean your data, all in under a few minutes. Something that takes or used to take us hours, if not days. So let's begin. Here is Analyst. I am logged in into my little dev area, and I'm looking at Microsoft 365 Copilot. I can access Copilot in M365Copilot.com or by clicking on the icon on my desktop, which is a shortcut to launch the Windows app. Analyst is an agent that lives inside of your M365 Copilot. Analyst is part of the licensed version of M365 Copilot, and it is not available in our included offering or the standard offering, which is Copilot Chat. So when you go to M365Copilot.com, or if you're launching the desktop app, you will see Work and Web tab if you have the license for Copilot. And this indicates that you're a premium user, one who has a license. If that is true, and if your organization provides you with licenses for Copilot, you will be able to follow along and see the power of Analyst. You'll see the Work and Web tab, and you want to be in the Work tab when you use Analyst. Now, there are two ways to get to the agent, to open the agent. If your organization enabled this agents section on the left navigation of your Copilot, then you may see other agents in this list, and you should see researcher and analyst. If you don't see these two agents pinned, you can go to all agents, which is our agent store, and you should be able to find analyst in the list here. Once you open it, it should be pinned on the left. Now, what if your organization has not yet enabled a way for you to access agents? Well, there is a second way to access Analyst, and that is from the M365 Apps Store. To get to the App Store inside of your M365, you will click on Apps down here in the left corner of your screen or in Copilot. Then you will click on All Apps. You will click on All Apps once more, over on the right. And then in the App Store, you want to go browse other apps. So you're going to click on Get More Apps. Once you're in this selection of getting more apps, the category built by Microsoft should contain and include two agents, researcher and analyst. If you have a message that these are not available or these are coming soon, it might be a caching issue. Try to log out of your M365, clear your cache, close the browser window, or switch the browsers entirely and log back into M365. Now, once you were able to open Analyst, let me show you what it can do for you. Lots of exciting things. We'll begin with a simple prompt. I have a budget file. I'll go ahead and show you the file first. It's an Excel spreadsheet that contains some information about our budget. And in addition to our budget file, I have actuals file that contains different information on what we actually spent. Now I'm going to ask Analyst to analyze the information contained in these files and help me derive out some outcomes. So for my first prompt, I will very simply ask it to show me where actuals exceeded the budget. So here I am in the prompt. I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I'm going to browse and bring my files to Analyst. Bringing your files to Analyst is how you get Analyst to look at your files. Here in my OneDrive for Business, once I've located where my files are, I will go ahead and add them to the prompt by selecting them directly in my OneDrive for Business. Budget and actuals. And for my first prompt, I'll just show you a very simple one. Show me where actuals exceeded budget. Let's start simple. And while it's building a response, which could take a few seconds longer than your regular Copilot chat answering, I'll point out some key information about Analyst. The way Analyst works is not just language reasoning. It actually writes Python code. You can see Python code in the reasoning steps. You can also ask Analyst to show your work, and Analyst will break down this code into simple language. Analyst writes Python code, and it is able to do analytical work on your files, including Excel spreadsheets, CSV files, text files, JSON files. It even can do data cleanup if you have messy data. Now that used to, or maybe still does, take us hours, if not days. Here, you can easily see that Analyst did it all in a few seconds. I will show you step by step what the response contains and how it is giving us intelligence over the files that it reasoned over. Here's a clear breakdown of where actuals exceeded your budget. Summary of findings, and then listing of over budget divisions, over budget category, largest overruns. First offender and top offender is IT, followed by operations. It always will suggest what it can do next for you based on the information in the chat. So next, I can get a copy and paste ready table, a breakdown by quarter, a visual summary, like a bar chart or a heat map. So here, I will just say, create a chart. And then Analyst will work and provide a chart to me. While it's building a chart, I'll note that in the government space, if you are a government customer who's using our Copilot for M365, you may know that in Excel, we don't yet have capability that allows you to create visuals from your data. So currently in Excel, you're able to analyze your data, get insights, get information via Copilot chat that can read your data and give you data analysis. But we're still in the process of deploying what's called agent mode that is able to create charts, graphs, and dashboards. In lieu of agent mode, using Analyst allows you to have that agent reason over your data and create these charts. So it is a big bonus to get Analyst to do that work for you while we're still waiting for that capability to arrive to Excel. And here's a chart of actuals versus budget by category. Pretty cool. What can I do with this chart? I can download it in the PNG format, or I can simply copy and paste into my slide deck that I have to present on. I also have actuals versus budget by quarter and suggestions for next steps. Now, if you're wondering, how do I validate and how do I see the Python code? Well, it's right here for you. Under the reasoning steps, if you drop down and expand the reasoning steps, you will see all of the Python code that Analyst wrote to perform the task that you asked it to. Everything that Analyst does is transparent. All of the code is here. And if you ask it in the prompt to show your work, it will actually explain this code in plain language. I'll show you that next. Analyst reasons over the files that you provide to the agent. It does not search your M365. It does not search the web. For sources, you will see here that it only used my files that I uploaded into the prompt. Now, on to the next one. Now, what if I told you that I can take a JSON file and I can calculate each department's monthly adoption rate for Copilot using a simple prompt? So let me start a new chat and paste the prompt in. And I'm going to ask Analyst this time to look at my JSON file and calculate my monthly adoption rate and total hours saved across the period. I'm going to also ask it for a number of other things. Let's get the file loaded into the prompt. Here, my demo folder, as you can see, contains a lot of different documents, including Word docs, Excel spreadsheets, CSV, and JSON. I will show you the file once I launch this prompt. While this is working and being busy creating our information, let me show you the JSON file so you get an idea of what's in it. This could work very well if you have some data export from another database or another system that you wanted Analyst to reason over. Here is a sample of that data. This is an adoption sample in JSON that contains a lot of information right here. And now with one click, we're going to ask Analyst to reason over it and provide us rich insights, including a line chart. So we're waiting for Analyst to rank departments from highest to lowest in adoption, flag any below 40, project July active users based on the information in the JSON file, show the work, and then produce a line chart. All of that in one prompt. And here we go. Here's your full analysis based on this JSON file. Monthly adoption rate calculations. That is Analyst showing its work. Total hours saved across the period. Ranking and flagging of departments below 40. We have field operations. Projection for July, showing its work and making the projection. And then the line chart. From here, I can download it, or I can simply copy and paste into my slide deck, an email, a chat with my colleague, and task completed. Summary table to close the response and suggested actions. Not bad, right? Let's keep looking at another example I have for you, and that is a text file. What if your information was simply in a text file? Do you feel that Analyst would be up for the job? Well, yes, it would be. So, new chat. I'll show you what this file looks like. So I'm going to browse to the same folder and I'm going to pick my text file that contains similar information in a text format. Oh, okay. Let me pivot just a little and show you the output of that, since I cannot locate that text file in the folder. And here it is. I will show that to you. The text file contains training completion information for different courses. And here's what we're asking Analyst to do. Compute the completion rate for level 100 versus 200 courses and the average score by department. exclude anyone with the status of not started, and call out every employee who completed the course but scored below the passing mark of 80. Show your steps, then give me a bar chart comparing completion rates across departments. And here again, reasoning steps will show us Python code. If you wanted another AI tool to validate, you can certainly copy the code and validate it. Step by step, translating Python code into easy to understand language. How did it create the response and how did it provide the information? Completion rate by course level, average score by department, employees who completed but scored below 80. Completion rates by department, information that was used to create the bar chart. And then finally, our beautiful bar chart. Again, something that analysts can easily do. Now, I mentioned messy data. Let me find an example for you of what messy data may look like. If I open this file, which is an Excel spreadsheet, you will see a number of things here. Inconsistency in field formatting, white spaces, capitalization, inconsistencies, and then again, formatting. So what if we took this and we asked analysts to clean data, but then in the same prompt, we asked it to group by region, run a regression revenue versus spend, and show me a scatter plot with trend lines. Let's give that a shot. And while it will be working on that, I will remind you of a very important for government employees specifically highlight of analysts is that it is compliant, safe, and secure to use with your sensitive data. And I suspect that a lot of this data, since you are working with data here in your corporate environment, that it could be sensitive. Analyst runs within M365 Copilot, which complies with all regulations of federal government agencies, and your data does not ever leave your tenant. So using Analyst is not only effective and efficient, but also it is safe and secure with your sensitive data. And not at all like using consumer or commercially available AI tools that may be able to analyze your data as well, but will result in an accidental data leak somewhere. So here, we are giving it a messy spreadsheet, and we're asking analysts to clean the data, group by region, run a regression on revenue versus spend, and show me a scatter plot with the trend line. Now, you may have noticed that I was using different formats of files that I uploaded into Analyst. And that was to show you that analysts can work with Excel spreadsheets, CSV files, text files, JSON files, and more. In the slide that I will show next, you will see all of that information. Here's our analysis. Data cleaned, grouped by region. And so if you look at this section, it is explaining what data cleanup it did. Pretty cool. Converted marketing spend to numeric. Region name standardized. Drop rows with missing values, and final data set contained 28 clean observations. So you may also wonder, how large can these files be? You can upload up to 5 files into the prompt or bring up to 5 files to Analyst. And the total of those files or one file has to be 100 megs or less. So it is able to process large files and 5 files at a time and look across those files and get information out and extract and create visuals. So it is a very powerful agent. Here's my plot. And here's my full data set. So very impressive, very fast, and very efficient. Okay, now for our last demo, I wanted to show you the power of Analyst looking across several spreadsheets at a time and answering one question. And that is creating us a single ROI scoreboard from 5 different files. Check this out. I'm attaching 5 workbooks for our agency Copilot program, licenses, June usage, training, a satisfaction survey, a productivity activity. Join them all on department and build me a single ROI scorecard and the details of the scorecard. While you're reading this, I'm going to upload the file or the files back into my OneDrive, back into the demo folder. 1, 2, oh, this does not. Got it. 5. And back to the prompt. We're asking for the ROI scorecard to contain spend, value, net ROI, adoption rate, pool and level 200 completion rate, and average satisfaction for each department, and then rank the departments by net ROI. We wanted to flag any adoption below 40 as underutilized, and we wanted to tell us whether higher training and satisfaction line up with higher ROI. As always, best practice, show your work, then give me a ranked scorecard table and a bar chart of net ROI by department. All of that in one prompt with 5 files. Let's see what that looks like. And this may take a little longer than previous prompts, but the outcome, I'm sure, will be phenomenal. While this is thinking and working hard, I will reiterate some of the more important points. Analyst is not like using Copilot chat. It actually writes Python code that you can validate and that you can see, and it thinks like an analyst. You do have to bring the files to Analyst. There's no way to, let's say, tell it to find files and then analyze. So bring the files to Analyst. Make sure that when you upload your file to the prompt using this plus sign, that the file is not open anywhere on your local machine. Be sure that you're using less or equal to 5 files per prompt, and they are not more than 100 megabytes in size in total. Also, be sure that you understand the difference between using, say, Copilot in Excel to analyze your data and using an agent like Analyst. Now let's see if our output is almost done, and then we'll wrap it up with a brief overview of my presentation slide deck that highlights some of these points that I just showed you. Below is your complete ROI scorecard. Let's see how well it did. All 5 workbooks joined, calculations performed, ranked outputs generated, and your net ROI bar chart is all right here. So, net ROI by department. We've got this beautiful chart with ROI in dollars and departments. Table supporting the chart. Another thing we asked for. Now, under utilization, we also have a chart displaying our underutilized departments. And then the answer to our question, do training and satisfaction scores relate to ROI? And the conclusion that analysts came up with is that departments investing more in advanced training and reporting or reported stronger satisfaction tend to achieve higher ROI. Net ROI by department. And last but not least, how this work was performed. You can see step by step that first it loaded all 5 files. It cleaned the headers, removed duplicate rows, joined on department, and then it did the following calculations to determine spend, value, net ROI, ROI percentage, adoption, and level 200 completion rate. After that, it ranked departments by net ROI, flagged lower adoption, and then created a bar chart. Pretty cool. Now, to wrap this up, what I will do is briefly show you some highlights that you should take away from this session about the agent analyst. Access. Remember that you can access the agent from either of the 2 places. If your organization enabled agents, you can access analyst from the left navigation agents section by going to all agents and looking for analyst in the agent store. If your organization has not yet enabled agents, then you will follow option number 2. You will open M365 Copilot. You will go to the bottom left corner and go to apps, all apps again, get more apps from the apps store, and you will look for analyst. In a rare case that this does not appear in the apps store, it might be a caching issue, and my recommendation is to clear your cache in the web browser, log out of M365, and log back in. How you will use Analyst is you will upload your data in either of the formats that I demoed, and you will ask a question. No worries if you don't get your question right away. Iterate and refine. If you want to verify the code, click on Show Code or Reasoning Steps, and you will see the Python code that it wrote. Now, to wrap this up, supported formats, I demonstrated almost all of these: CSV, Excel workbooks, JSON, plain text, up to 5 files per chat, 100 megabytes in total. These are not supported yet. I hope you all try Launch Analyst and give it one task and see how efficient and powerful it is. Thank you all for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.